So one of the questions I get asked quite a bit is how I made the LED front lights work on a certain Camaro that I built. There was an LED array in there, and it split from high to low voltage. Sounds simple, right? But it's not. Let me explain to you why. Let's take this little guy right here. Genius invention known as the incandescent bulb. But the advantage this has over an LED is the fact that it has 3 points of contact. So you have a high, basically, output element, a low output element, and a ground. Makes it real easy. I send the blinking side to the brighter bulb and the dim side to parking lights. Now with an LED, you only have 2 points of contact. So you basically have ground and power. So you're limited to just making it turn on and off. That's about it. So what if you want to explore other abilities of an LED? This is just a standard 5mm LED, probably the most common one. First off, we know we've only got 2 points of contact. So we've got 2 wires coming out of here. One's known as the anode, which is the longer leg, and the cathode, which is a shorter leg. It does matter how you hook these up, because an LED is a light-emitting diode. So it came from just a normal diode, and they decided, they being the geniuses back in the 70s that figured this little guy out, that they could harness some of the properties of what a diode does and let it emit light. So it is a one-way valve. That's what a diode does. It stops either ground from coming in and going out or positive based on its orientation. These little guys won't work on 12 volts without having some type of current limiter added to them, a resistor. So the one piece of magic advice I found out, that no matter what type of math you do, you can figure out exactly how much you're supposed to knock down the current on an LED based on all of its physical parameters and characteristics, like how does it work, what are its values. Don't worry about any of that stuff. What I've figured out is that time and time again, I can use a 1,000 ohm resistor, as long as I'm in a 12 volt system, that's going to give me adequate brightness and not hurt the LED every single time. So that's great information. That way you don't have to think. You don't have to do any math. You just do this. You can put the resistor on the ground leg or on the positive leg, so either on the anode or cathode. That does not matter, because it's beautiful how electricity flows at this level. Boom, see that little guy? He'll stay lit for eons. That's the other distinct advantage. These things pretty much will not burn out. There's some really cool stuff you can do with them. Cool, now let's look at the actual part I did use in the Camaro. This is it. This is the remaining chunk of, LED array that I had. So you can see this one already has resistors put in on the circuit. So they've already done that thinking for you. And it's on every 3 LEDs. Why is that important? What that tells me is that I can cut this every 3 LEDs. Now, we're going to turn it on at full brightness, which will be the full 12.5 volts. And right now, we're just going to look at it the way the car would be with the key off. Your battery's good to hold 12.5 to 12.75 on a static charge. So in other words, it's just sitting there, no outside forces acting on it. And this is the brightness you'll get. Hi, Mom, look at that. Okay, now the quandary I had was how to make this blink and also how to split the voltage. So in other words, that would be my turn signal brightness. So you can imagine the turn signal blinking on and off. Very cool, right? But how do I differentiate that from a parking light with only 2 wires? So let's say we turn the voltage down to around 8, which is about where I had it. That's my parking light. That's my turn signal. Parking light, turn signal. You get it. All right, cool. How do we do that? Well, you could do it with resistors like I showed you if you built your own. Or you could cheat like I did in the instance of the Camaro because I only had so much time. This little dimmer is an easy to find thing. Just go on the internet, type in 12 volt LED dimmer. These are becoming a lot more available on the internet than they used to be. You could build this same thing real simply, but for the cost now, because they're really cheap and the time they save you, you know you can get a reliable whatever voltage you're looking for. Then you split the difference between the turn signal light and the parking light with relays. Any more questions, I'll try and keep up with you. Send them my way and we'll keep playing on the bench and talking to you. See you later.